Hi, it's Coach MK. I just did my first Facebook Live on my brand new Facebook page. Yay! Facebook.com/coached and loved. One word. COACHED&DLOVED. Yay! So, what I was trying wasn't my best work, gotta say. I get a little thrown off. I much prefer Twitch because Facebook turns the camera around and everything I'm seeing is backwards, and it weirds me out because when I use the whiteboard and I'm gesturing behind me and you can't read it because it's turned around in the camera, that's bullshit and it's stupid, and Twitch does it better. So here we go. Some of the points I really wanted to make. There's a nice little graphic you can grab in PDF or image form. I'm about to put it on my Instagram, and my Instagram is @morningmantrapod.com. So, sorry, no, it's just @morningmantrapod. Sorry, it's been a long day, and I've got to get my e-cards out for Christmas. So, the point I really wanted to make about these uncomfortable conversations is that they happen, and they happen in good families. It's not about the family, and it's not about the topic, and it's not about you. You're not too sensitive, and there's nothing wrong with your reaction. Your gut is great. And emotions are normal. They are a reaction to a stimulus. And if a certain stimulus, like a song or politics or abortion or any of the inane things people really decide, holidays, that really we ought to talk about this because it's the only time we're together, those things are triggering. And that thing you feel in the pit of your stomach, that anxiety, that's not a flaw. That is an evolutionary protection mechanism. Go with it. Recognize it. And while this conversation happens, though, make sure everyone knows how uncomfortable you are. Because if it matters to you, it matters, period. You matter. You are not irrational. You are not insane. There is nothing... You are not humorless, and you might not even be a feminist. I always get confused when people say that to me, like, you just are such a rampant feminist. I'm like, have you Googled that word? Let's talk. Let's talk about that word, the definition versus the movement, which I don't completely identify with. I absolutely would describe myself as a feminist, but the movement has a shit ton of problems, y'all. That's why I don't say that out loud or use that word very much. But what I really wanted, the point I wanted to make with this is that triggers happen. Either it's accidental and people back right off as soon as you say, I don't want to talk about this, or look really uncomfortable. But sometimes when you just look really uncomfortable, people try harder to engage you. And that's the conundrum. Because if you're triggered, you probably don't want people to engage you. You want the conversation to end. So you have two options. And both are going to come with consequences. I can't tell you which option is right for you. Because only you, at any given moment, are aware of the consequences that you're going to face. But when I game it out, this is what I think about. Option number one. I've made it clear that I'm really uncomfortable and everyone is doubling down. I'm going to leave. Turn and go. And option two is stay and fight. And by fight, I mean you're probably going to make people really, really, really uncomfortable. And once you've made them uncomfortable enough, the conversation might end. Once you've given them your experience, which is a trump card, by the way. These people that claim to love you are going to have to practice what they preach, that whole no means no stuff, and say, hey, no means no. So I'm going to stop doing this thing that is clearly hurting the person I care about. And if they don't do that, that's not you being humorless, that's them being an asshole. Remember that. Whatever it is that you're carrying around, we've been conditioned to have guilt and shame about it and not talk about it because it makes it convenient for the perpetrators and palatable for other people who walk through this world knowing that many perpetrators will never actually be punished. Because until you've been raped, walking home from your job at the White House in the wealthiest zip code in the country, you might not know that, yeah, it can happen to you. It has nothing to do with what you wear. It's a crime of opportunity, and opportunities abound. It's not about how much control you put into the scenario. Sometimes you can be really, really responsible, thinking you're in a safe place, and the situation turns on a dime and you're not safe anymore. This isn't about you. Okay? This is about everybody else's responsibility toward you as a basic fucking decent human being. And if they can't give it to you, then they are not decent. Okay? So, the next thing that happens, you can either turn and fly, you can signal, and if they don't take the signals, you can turn and fly, or you can stay and fight and make them really uncomfortable. I'm all about that because I just don't think I should have to bear this burden alone. I don't believe in safe spaces. I will not freak out in a way that's convenient and palatable for you. You will manage my trauma with me if you insist on pushing me that far. The next thing that tends to happen, we just try to change the subject, and maybe someone else sees the pain you're in and they try to change the subject for you. Hey, Dad, back off. This is making her uncomfortable. Can't we just enjoy Christmas dinner? And if he says no and doubles down, again, you've got two options. You can leave, or you can stay and fight. And if you're going to fight, advocate for yourself calmly, in a controlled manner. Be firm. The reason I don't want to talk about the Baby It's Cold Outside band, Dad, the reason I really don't care, it's because I was roofied in college, and I never told you because I didn't think you'd be supportive. And now that we have to talk about this song, I see that I was right. I have these conversations in front of my small children all the time. It is not my responsibility to make them think that they need to keep really big violations deep inside them. But normally, and I will not be shamed into silence any longer. I was silent for 20 years. I still haven't said my rapist's name out loud. So yeah, it's not about me, and whatever you're feeling, it's not about you. So I can't tell you what to say or what to feel, but just think about it. That thing that you're not saying, just say it. Why not? You know why? You know why, Dad? You know why? Or Uncle Mike, the reason why I don't want to talk about this is because I had an abortion 15 years ago. And I never told you guys because I had a feeling you wouldn't be supportive. That's why I didn't say anything. And you've just proven me right. Thanks. Yay, burden off your chest. It's on them to respond now. Yay! And what are they going to do? Shame you more? They can dig themselves into a great big asshole hole. Sometimes it's fun to watch. I want a whole series of asshole holes in my backyard where people can bury themselves in. Because it's not about me and my shame, and it shouldn't be about you and yours. And then the final step, if you're going to stay in the conversation and not leave, and you haven't been able to take the previous on-ramps, that's where it gets ugly for you. You've sat through it, you've taken the abuse, you've let everyone tell you that you're humorless and that you're way too sensitive, and you've probably tried to engage and push back on their terms instead of your own. Because remember, this was never a debate. Your humanity should never be up for debate. If it matters to you, it matters, period. And so does your experience, at least to the people that care about you enough to insist that you eat with them on a holiday. Because the natural end for 20 years for me was to cry alone in the bathroom. See, my first rape happened in 1998 on my way home from my job at the White House. And if you remember anything about that time period, 6 months earlier, a woman with the same job description that I had would go on to become a household name. Because no one wanted to call it the Clinton affair until recently. So while everyone talked about how badly she must have wanted it, and made it about her instead of the power imbalance and the gross negligence and the fact that no one really cared about her at all because they decided she was an adult, I had to listen to all of that while carrying this huge burden inside me for the better part of a year and the following year and the following year, because the fallout from the Clinton affair went on for a very long time. So I tell you that to tell you this. If I can survive that and grow up to be the loudmouthed, brash, possibly overly confident person that I am today, from the person that spent years crying in the bathroom, then there's no telling where you can go. But it starts with advocating for yourself, and sometimes that's fleeing, and sometimes it's staying and fighting. I can't tell you which one is right for you, but I can promise you that I will be with you every step of the way. Because I am not a professional, I'm not paid to do this, but we're never really talking about the running, are we? You're coached. You are loved. Let's go win at Christmas.